If you've watched my previous videos on Coinbase, you know that I was very bullish on the company and the stock price, and I viewed that as my main way of investing into the cryptocurrency world. I made the decision to sell out of Coinbase completely a little while ago, and I'm going to tell you why in this video. Back in June, I made a couple videos and a couple shorts about the company Coinbase, ticker symbol COIN. And two of these videos are still my most viewed videos on my channel, even though my channel is not directly really related to cryptocurrency. I've tried to mention that I can't promise to always update when I buy more of a stock or I sell out of a stock, and I always want to encourage you to make your own decisions so that you know where you stand and you know why you invested, and you can make the decision on whether to ever sell. I will only make these update videos on future sales or future purchases if I feel like there's educational value or entertainment value or some other benefit to you in some way. In this case, I actually regret not making a video about my choice to sell Coinbase stock. About a month after I made those prior videos on Coinbase, Coinbase started being in the news multiple different times for multiple different reasons. And I always believe that there's opportunity in being able, as an investor, to sift through the noise and be able to see what's meaningful and what's just noise and short term and people are overreacting to. On July 21st, the story broke that at least one former employee of Coinbase was going to be investigated by the SEC and the DOJ for possible insider trading and a connection with some of his family members. While this story is serious and negative, I didn't really see it impacting the company substantially if it was just one former employee, unless it turned out that the story changed and this was more of a widespread problem across Coinbase. And so at that point, I continued to hold the stock. I still believed in the company and had no problem with the story in particular. But then just 5 days later, the SEC announced that they would be investigating and possibly prosecuting Coinbase for listing digital assets to be traded that they never should have considered securities. At this point, I decided that holding Coinbase stock was no longer worth the risk in case this investigation and this case went against them. Regardless of my feelings on whether we should be able to trade and invest in these cryptocurrency tokens and coins, that doesn't matter. And listening to many different experts on cryptocurrencies and securities laws, it really seemed like this was going to come down to opinion. And trying to decide how the SEC would rule on this decision was trying to guess someone's opinion. And really, honestly, that's just not something that I'm qualified to do. Knowing that Kathy Wood has been a longtime bull of Coinbase, I thought I would check in with what she was doing with the stock, and she began to dump her shares at that point as well. Realizing that the situation with the company had changed, I thought it best to simply decide to cut my ties with Coinbase and book a loss and sell out of the stock. So in this case, I didn't sell out of the stock because I don't believe in the company anymore. I believe it still offers a great value. The problem is the situation around the company and all the different things that are going to have to be decided in the near future as far as cryptocurrency and the law that governs cryptocurrency, coins, and tokens. As a single stock investor, I only have a certain amount of bandwidth. I only have a certain amount of time for research and attention to be able to follow the different things that involve my stocks. And I simply don't have the time or the passion specifically for Coinbase to devote the amount of time that it would take for me to become proficient on these questions. So I don't take this decision lightly. Unfortunately, it means that while I had been buying Coinbase stock in the mid 200s and continue adding as the stock price fell, here I am selling the majority of my position at just $55 a share. That is painful and it's not good. But in looking back on it now, even though the stock price now is about $69 a share, I can confidently say that I made the right decision for me and for my portfolio. Even though I lost money on the investment, it allowed me to turn around and invest that money into companies that I understand better and I can have a stronger confidence in, even though the upside may not be quite as strong as sticking with Coinbase. And so I use that capital to solidify and grow my positions in Crocs and Lithium Americas Corp and Microsoft. All three of these are companies that I can easily understand and follow and maintain and feel confident about. But what about you? Are you invested in coin? Or maybe you have been in the past and you've sold out of it like me. Or are you adding more to your position? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, have a great day. Dog barks. I'm selling all dog barks forever.